All right, this is Landon again. I'm back with the last and final part of our Spicing Up Your Piano Play series. So far, we've talked about rhythm and what you're playing with both hands. We talked about fattening up your chords, using chord inversions. We've talked about individual notes that you can use. And in this last piece, we're going to talk about different chords you can add as well. We're going to talk about passing chords. We're going to talk about some walks with the bass hand and even some with the right hand, which is kind of sort of with the individual note range, but you can also walk the chords with those notes, and even some substitution chords. So trading out chords for different chords and how that will take your piano play to the very next level. This can change you from if you're a beginner to an intermediate. It really can. It makes a big difference. Of course, you have to have some theory behind it, but I'm going to try to explain a little bit of this out and kind of break some of the theory down that we kind of talked about a little bit in the other videos to hopefully where it makes sense so that you can use it in any song. One of the things I personally don't like is watching a tutorial video and they tell me what chords to play, but not necessarily how to apply it to other songs. So this is the main focus of this, is I'm going to tell you how to apply these to what I'm playing with How Great Is Your God, and maybe I'm going to add a song of When I Think About the Lord in here as well, of how you can add this chord progressions and these substitutions to different songs to really spice up any song that you're playing. So first, let's dive right into How Great Is Our God. So How Great Is Our God, we talked about in the chord progression of C, A minor, 9, F major 7, G suspended, to G, 2, back to C, C2, C9, whatever, major 9. So one example of passing chords is what you call a 2-5-1 chord progression, okay? So what that means is from whatever chord you're going from, or let me put it this way, whatever chord you're going to. So from C, I'm going to an A minor 7 or a minor 9 chord, okay? So whatever chord you're going to, you can go to that scale, okay? Act like you're playing in that key for just a second and play some chord representation of the 2 and some chord representation of the 5. That is the most simple way to break it down. There's other ways to kind of talk about passing chords and other patterns, but for me, this is the most simple thing I can think of, because in any situation, I think of either playing the 2 chord first, the 5 chord first, or both, okay? And usually I start with a 5 first before I would just do the 2, but sometimes it's just the 2. And then, or do both. The big thing about passing chords is it's a lot about timing. To make it sound right, sound good, it's about timing. And you also want to make sure that the chords you're playing do not kind of clash with the notes that are being sung at that point. So a lot of passing chords can be done when you're not singing, or they're kind of holding it out. But some work great with the notes that they are singing. So you kind of go with feel with it. But I'm going to play it again. See? How great is our God? Sing with me, how great. A minor 7, minor 9. F major 7. How great. Okay? So to get from C to A, I'm going to play some chord representation of the 2 and then the 5 before I get to A, and that is the 2 and 5 of A. So for A, we're on A. The 2 is a B, okay? And then if we go through the major scale for A, 3, 4, 5. E is a 5, okay? So I got to play something with a B and something with the E, at least in the bass part of it, to get to A. Or I can just play B, or I could just play an E chord to get to A. So I'm going to give you a couple options here, from simple to a little bit more complicated, okay? So first of all, I'm going to do a walk down just from C to a B chord and then to A, okay? That's the 2. So I'm going to do a G over B. A G in the right hand, G major chord, G, D, E. Just perfectly regular G. You can add the 2 in there, and then a B in the bass. Okay, and then to the A minor chord. Okay, so just walk. So how great is our God? I'll sing with 2. So instead of just the 2, we can use just the 5, and we can do a simpler one. So the 5 is an E, so we can try just the E minor chord. All right, so how is our sing with me, how great, okay? Sounds pretty interesting. Sometimes you can try using a major chord out of that E, and do like I'm doing a major, a dominant 7th E. Gives you a kind of a different feel. So how great is our God? Sing with me. Right, all right, kind of a different feel. E minor, E7 right there, kind of different feels that you can use. And then you can add the 2 first, then the 5. So the G over B first, and then let's just use the E minor 7 chord to the A. So like this, how great is our God, sing with me, how great. Okay, so you got a little bit more passing chord there. Now to kind of really give it that full, smooth flavor, one of my favorite chords to use for that 5 going into that 6 chord, that minor chord, or a lot of times in major chords too, is a chord that sounds very complicated, but I'm going to try to break it down because it's actually not. It is a E dominant 7 and then flat 9. So what does that mean? So a regular E chord is an E, G sharp, B, right? So we're going to make that what we call a dominant 7 chord, which means you're going to play the 7, which is the E flat, and then you're going to flat that 7, okay? So we're playing a D instead of the E. I got the E in my bass hand. All right, so right now that's a E7 chord. So then we're going to do what they call a flat 9, which is in the E, if you go all the way 1 through 7 in the E scale, 5, 6, 7, you know, E is 8, 9, it keeps going, is right back to your 2. Okay, so you got the E7, you're going to take the 2 or the 9 and flat that. That gives you this really cool sounding chord. Okay, that's an E7 flat 9. And you go to the A minor from that. Now I'm going to play it slightly in a different inversion. So I'm playing an F, G sharp, B, D, like this, okay? Which you'll notice if you know diminished chords, this is like a diminished chord over the E, okay? And I'll do G over B to that, to the A. So it goes, how great is our, sing with me, how, really smooth, adds a lot there, okay? Now to go from A minor, the 6, A minor to the 4, F, sometimes I'll just play, the 2 is a G, right? And then the 5 is a C. So a lot of times what I'll do is kind of play a C over E, which is the note right before, and of course the 5 over the 5. So C, and then E in the bass, and then walk to the F. So how great is, sing with me, how great, right? Is our God, and all will sing how great, right? It adds a lot doing that. In other songs, not necessarily in this song, but in other songs, I'll do the whole 2 and 5. So I'll do a G minor. Usually when you're going from you're going to a major chord, I would make the 2 minor because in that scale it is. So that G, I'd make it minor. Okay, and then the 5 is C. So you can play a C chord. You can do that C7 flat 9 chord. You can do that as well. Do it all the time. It sounds really good. So going from the A minor, I do G minor 7. Okay. So I'm sorry. my bad, on the C7 flat 9. This is the C7 flat 9 to F. So it sounds like this from the whole thing. If I was going from C to A minor 7 to F and using the passing chords in between. So really smooth. Okay, and then you can use some of those same concepts. Instead of just staying on the C to start the chorus again, you can play other chords in between. Like the very simple thing is playing your 4/5 or F over G to get you back to that C. But you can do the 2-5-1 here as well. You can do a D minor chord, G7, G9, F major 7 over G to C to start. So like, so how great, right? How great is our God. And staying out there for a second, then you can do. So that's very cool turnaround there, using the 2-5-1 chord progression to get you back to the first chord of the chorus, the 1, the C. So using those chord progressions, those passing chords, it really spices up the song. And some songs are just purely built, they build those passing chords in because they won't even sound the same without it. And one of those songs is When I Think About the Lord. And the key of E flat, so you start out with E flat, okay? The way I play, so when I think about the verse chorus, I play the same chord progression, so it makes me want to shout E flat, right? Hallelujah, B flat over D, B flat, which is a 5/7. All right, and then it goes to the 6. So the 6 minor 7, which is C minor 7, B flat, and then I'll play that G7 flat 9 chord. It's actually a B, sorry. B, I'm sorry, excuse me. A G7 flat 9, yeah. Before the C. So when it makes me want to shout, hallelujah, thank you, Jesus. Very smooth. That's the 2-5-1. That's going from your E flat to your 6 of the C minor 7, and it's just doing the 5/7, that B flat over D, which is your 2 of C. Your 5 of C is G, so that G7 flat 9, right? Okay, and so then it's doing, it's basically doing what we call a chromatic walk down, and what that means is chromatically from this point, starting at your next chord, which is a B flat minor 7, okay, we're going to get to A flat, which is B flat minor 7. B flat is the 2 of A flat, but we're going to walk, instead of doing the 2-5-1, which you can just walk it down every note. That's chromatic, because A is not in the scale, but you're chromatically walking to it. So you can do it. So when it makes me want to shout, hallelujah, thank you, Jesus. Okay, so I'm doing the B flat minor 7. This is an A, it's an A diminished chord. So a diminished chord is all it is taking your root, a major chord, you're going to flat the 3 and the 5, okay? And then I add the 6 of that, okay? So it's kind of like a diminished 6, okay? Right? Into the A flat, major 7. All right? So you can try going back to the E flat there and doing the E flat chord instead. So it makes me want to shout. Doesn't sound as good as walking it down like that. It sounds pretty good. And then the song actually just continues to walk. It does E flat over G, 1/3, okay? You're walking the bass down note. Then you're going to go to the 2 minor chord, F minor 7, okay? Then you're going to do that 4 over 5, A flat over B flat, to your E flat. Okay? Or that A flat over B flat actually is going to be your It Makes Me Want to Shout. So it makes me want to shout, hallelujah, thank you, Jesus. They built like those passing chords all in that, and that's the same stuff I was just showing you in How Great Is Your God and how you can add it. So that's basically what passing chords are. This 2-5-1 type of chord progression. The walk is straight down using chords, walking it up. For instance, to get from 1 to 4, you can do the 2-5-1 chord progression from C to F. So I can do that G minor 7, right? C7 flat 9, F major 7, or I can simply walk from C, D, E to F. So I can do C, D minor 7, C over E, F. That's in a lot of songs. That's Grateful by Hezekiah Walker. That's Lord Make Me Over by Tone. That's I Feel You Moving. I Feel You Moving. That whole song. Move, oh Lord, hit me. So that's a lot. That walk up, walk down, and the chord 2-5-1 passing chords. One other thing, real quick, is chord substitutions can also spice up. So, especially in some of the old school songs, for instance, I'm going to go to the key of F because that's kind of my favorite key for the song, but Can't Nobody, I did a little bit of that in previous videos, but nobody. So the chord progression is just kind of like 1, right? F, nobody. Just stay there for a while. Then you go to the 5, which is C. Go right back to the 1. Stay there. And then you can just depending on who's playing it, a lot of people I've seen just stay there for a long time. Then they'll hit the 5 because he's mine, and then friend. So the 5, the C to the F. So you can really spice that up by doing the 1, 4, 1, F, B flat, F, kind of making it a suspended type chord over F. So okay, no, go to the C, the 5. Or C to the C7, back to the 1. Nobody. So here's what I do. All right. So instead of just doing the 1, maybe even the 2, he's my friend. The 1, 2, 5, 1. I'll walk it down first. Right. I'll do F, C over E, D minor 7, cause he's, and then G minor 7. And you can just walk this bass. You can just do B flat over C to come back, or you can do the old 3, 4 sharp, 5 chord to come back. So adding that walking down to what it's That's just something simple. Chord substitution. Instead of just hitting a chord for a long time, you can kind of walk down to the 2-5-1, right? To get to the C, right? From F to C, I went to the 2, I walked it down. F, C over E to the 2 of C, right? D minor 7 to the 5 of C, which is G minor. G minor, you can do G minor 7, and then walk that up. 3, 4, A, B flat, B, C, right? You'll hear that walk a lot in the more fast songs. So those chord substitutions, just changing, you can look a lot on the root chord. I know I'm kind of going way into detail in this, but this is more advanced stuff. But anytime, if you look at, here's for instance, in the key of C, you can play every chord representation of the note, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, of that scale by using 3 chords in your right hand. C, F, G, right? F, G, C, G. Now watch this. C over C is C. F over D is a D minor 7. If you look at the notes, that's exactly what they are. C over E is a E minor, G over E, I'm sorry, is an E minor 7. Then you got your F major, G major. C over A is the A minor 7, a G over B. All right, so knowing that kind of F over D is a D minor 7, so sometimes you can substitute that F for a 2 minor, D minor. Sometimes instead of a G, you can play E minor 7. So like in C, a chord progression of C, F, right, to G, to F, or to C, and then back to F, like that. So C, F, G, C, F. So I can substitute, I can do C, D minor 7, F over D, right? G. I can do C over A for A minor 7, F. And it gives it different tones. Of course, you can do passing chords in between, but chord substitution, different of those chords work. Instead of F over F, it's F over D. It gives it a different tone. So you can do some of those to also spice it up. So one more time, How Great Is Our God. I'm going to do all the rhythm, notes, passing chords, all of it, and it's going to sound completely different. So. That this series has helped you, and I will be putting out some more videos in the future with some different things to hopefully make some of this more simple and to add other things to your dictionary to help you as you spice up your piano play. So thank you for watching.